In this video, we will show you how to replace your power steering return line on this Honda Accord. This will be located inside of your engine compartment. Let's get into it. Okay friend, let's get started on our job. The first thing we should mention is it's always a good idea to make sure you flush the power steering system with the manufacturer's specified fluid, so you're sure there's no contaminants in the system. Aside from that, it's also a good idea to remove as much of the fluid from in the system once you're done as possible. Now let's make our way along the back side of the engine. We're looking for the area where the power steering return hose connects onto the power steering return tube that leads over to the power steering rack. Make sure you have a collection bucket under this area, because there is always the probability of having fluid in this line. Use a 10mm to loosen the clamp. We'll slide the clamp out of the way and separate the hose from the line. Now for me personally, I'm going to replace this clamp. If you're not, you just want to continue loosening it till it comes apart. It's common for these to just break. I like to replace them. There we are. Separate that. This off of here. Let's get this off of here. Just work that off of there. There we are. Once you have the clamp slid down the line, we can remove the hose from the tube. To do that, take hold of the hose, give it a little twist to break it free. Now we can slide this off. Once again, there could be fluid in this area, be careful. There we are. We'll let that drain into our collection bucket. Now that we have the hose off of the line, let's continue on moving towards the driver's side just a little bit here. You'll find that you have a metal bracket with a rubber bushing holding two lines together. That's held in place to the subframe with a 10mm headed bolt. Remove that bolt and the mount. Bolt out of there. As for the metal aspect of this bracket, you'll find that it has two ears down where that bolt was located. Carefully separate those ears and remove the metal part of the bracket. A quick inspection of that. Now we can remove the rubber bushing. Let's make our way on the other side of that engine mount. You're going to see where the line goes directly into the power steering rack. Use a 17mm to loosen the fitting. Okay, that's unscrewed from the rack. Now that we have the line disconnected from the power steering rack, you can take hold of it and carefully pull it out of place. Slide that right up and out of here. There it is, friend. All right, let's get ready to install our brand new power steering return line. Before we put this in position, take the rubber cap that came with it and slide it over the end. Now we can take this and we'll start bringing it down and bring this area in between that mount and power steering rack. Once we're in the proper position, we'll continue on with installing this area onto the power steering rack. Let's get that line aligned with the rack. Start in the fitting by hand so you're sure you are not cross-threading it into the wrong position. There we are. Once you have the line slid in between that mount and the power steering rack, we'll make our way along the passenger side here, and we want to reinstall the rubber bushing and the metal bracket. The rubber bushing will go over both of the lines, the bracket goes around that, and then the 10mm bolt will hold everything in place. Now that we have the bushing and the bracket in the proper placement, we'll continue on with aligning that mounting bolt hole. Start in the 10mm headed bolt and snug it up. Now we can get this plug off the end of the line here. Once you have that done, you can continue on to your rubber hose. Slide that right into place. As I'm bringing it in, you want to start paying attention to this area here. There's a small lip. Make sure that the end of the hose is completely bottomed out against there. That looks good. Let's slide the clamp into place. As we put the clamp in place, pay attention to the hose. You want to make sure that you can see hose on both sides of that clamp. If you're too far towards the end here, the clamp might slide off and the hose might slide off of that tube, and you're going to have a serious issue. Double check to make sure that the hose is nice and tight. Now we can make our way back on the other side of the mount and we'll tighten the fitting into the power steering rack. When tightening this, you want to bring it till it bottoms out, and then just bring it a little bit further just to ensure that it's completely seated. We'll just double check this area. Looks perfect. Go ahead and clean up your mess. Let's fill up that power steering system. Making sure that you're using the manufacturer specified fluid, we'll continue adding until we're up to the add lines. You can see right in that reservoir, I'm at the first line, I'll bring it right up to the second line. Now that we have the power steering reservoir filled up to this level, let's carefully raise and support the front of the vehicle, just enough so the wheels are off the ground. Put the key in the on position and turn your steering wheel from one side all the way over to the other. We're going to do this nice and slow. Once we've made it to that side, we'll continue by going back and forth slowly to each of the stop points. While doing so, you will notice that air will make its way out of the system. While we continue this process, we'll also be paying attention to the level of that fluid. Continue topping it off as needed. Now that we've bled the system that way, let's continue on with removing our funnel, reinstalling the power steering reservoir cap. Now we want to get inside the passenger compartment, start up the vehicle and let it run for approximately 5 seconds and turn it right back off. Make your way back out here and double check that power steering fluid level. Typically, it will get drawn down a little bit. Top it off with that manufacturer specified fluid, reinstall the cap, and then run the vehicle for a little while longer. While doing so, make sure you check for power steering fluid leaks. Now, once you've run the vehicle, you found that you didn't have any more air in the system, and you checked for leaks, go ahead and take your vehicle for a road test. Thanks for watching.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.